Across social media platforms and alternative news networks, a specific panic is spreading. Commentators are pointing to the emergence of central bank digital currencies and biometrically anchored digital IDs, labeling these technologies as the imminent rollout of the mark of the beast. The problem is that this conversation is almost entirely dominated by theological speculation and fragmented conspiracy theories. It lacks a structured, rigorous foundation. To test the validity of these claims, we have to strip away the emotion. We need to evaluate the technology dispassionately, using the standard analytical conventions of business and finance scholarship. Applying a strict engineering and financial framework to an ancient eschatological text is the precise way to separate substantive reality from hyperbolic alarmism. Before evaluating modern payment systems, we must establish our baseline. The framework comes from the New Testament, specifically Revelation, seen here in a 17th century edition. The original text dictates a specific financial reality, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. If we remove the religious context from those 52 words, what remains is an outline of a highly specific economic architecture. It details a globally binding system that explicitly conditions all buying and selling on a mandatory bearer credential. The text does not describe supernatural coercion. It describes a controlled, exclusionary payments infrastructure that we can reverse engineer and evaluate against modern technology. This 5-panel model distills the text into operational conditions. The first two form the baseline: universality and binary admit or exclude, requiring categorical exclusion of the non-compliant. Enforcing this requires Condition 3, a tamper-evident ID, combined with Condition 4, comprehensive reach. Meeting these first 4 conditions creates a Mark of the Beast prototype, or MOP, a fully functional engineering framework based purely on financial exclusion. Condition 5 provides the ideological trigger, a coercive loyalty test. This conditions commerce on declared allegiance to a specific ideological or religious authority. The full Mark of the Beast system, or MOB, requires all 5 of these conditions to be satisfied conjunctively. By separating the prototype from the ideological test, we have a scientific rubric to measure exactly how close modern technology is to completing the blueprint. State-sponsored financial exclusion and embargoes are frequent occurrences throughout human history. Measuring them against our framework reveals a consistent pattern in past attempts at financial repression, from wartime rationing to trade blockades. These historical systems successfully executed the binary admit and exclude function on a localized level, but they consistently hit a bottleneck. Past authorities could never achieve global universality or comprehensive reach. The physical nature of fiat cash and analog ledgers provided inevitable loopholes, facilitating off-book transactions and robust black markets. Because of these physical limitations, all historical episodes represent, at most, localized prototypes. The ambition for total financial control existed, but it was continually defeated by the inherent friction of physical money and analog record-keeping. That analog friction is disappearing. Today, we are seeing the rollout of the first pillar of a modern financial control stack. Central bank digital currencies are in development by major central banks. Unlike traditional digital bank balances, a CBDC is sovereign, programmable digital money. Because the money is programmable, authorities can hard-code spending rules and logic gates directly into the currency itself. Mapped against our framework, CBDCs execute the binary admit and exclude condition without the administrative drag of older systems. A fully deployed retail CBDC phases out physical cash entirely, eliminating traditional black market loopholes and satisfying the requirement for comprehensive reach. Instead of relying on disconnected local paper ledgers, authorities can monitor and restrict transactions at the network level. Programmable money removes the physical barriers that previously protected off-book transactions, closing the technological gap that prevented comprehensive global financial exclusion. Controlling the currency is only half the equation. The system also requires a mechanism to identify the person spending it. Modern networks rely on Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering regimes, which are now being anchored to digital biometric identities. These biometric verification systems perfectly fulfill the condition for a tamper-evident bearer ID. Alongside digital IDs, we are seeing the expansion of social credit systems and behavioral scoring frameworks that track individual compliance. When you combine programmable CBDCs, biometric identities, and behavioral scoring into an interoperable stack, you meet the first four conditions of the framework. Modern financial systems now possess the engineering capability to operate a global Mark of the Beast prototype. The engineering distance between contemporary financial architectures and the biblically conforming prototype is now smaller than at any point in recorded human history. So, is this technology the actual Mark of the Beast, or is it internet hype? The substantive reality lies directly between the two extremes. The technology to assemble the prototype exists today, but an architectural prototype is not the full system. While the technical foundation for the first four conditions is established, the fifth panel, the coercive loyalty test, remains distinct. Deploying the full system depends on political and ideological triggers, rather than technical hurdles. The transition from prototype to full system relies on a dynamic known in financial literature as crisis-induced accelerationism. Severe systemic shocks, whether a global pandemic, a cascading financial collapse, or a massive climate emergency, historically drive rapid, centralized regulatory expansion. Under the pressure of extreme global instability, governments often bypass normal political friction. Such a crisis provides the political justification needed to flip the switch, applying an ideological loyalty test to the existing digital prototype. The foundational architectural choices being coded into CBDCs and identity networks right now are permanent and durable. By applying this objective 5-point framework, we can strip away the internet panic and precisely monitor the real operational stakes of global finance. We do not yet live in the fully realized system described in the ancient texts, but for the first time in history, we have built the machine that could run it.